First race I ever did in East Africa was called the Mount Kilimanjaro Marathon. Lined up at the start, and you want to be scared at the start of a race. Line up with 150 runners, and 149 of them come from Kenya, Tanzania, and Ethiopia. And I'm not from either of those three countries. So get to that starting line and line up with the 149 East Africans and myself, and then they look at me and they go, "Wow, there's an American in our race. This white guy named Bart." And they're looking at me now. East Africans are pretty slight of build. Most of the runners that were lined up right around me were 5'2", 5'3", 110 pounds, 112 pounds, and they looked at me. I'm 6 foot, 170, and they're like, "Wow, there's a white guy from America in our race, and he's a big fat guy. What's he doing here?" And they really thought I was a big fat guy. And then, of course, the race starts. And there was not one runner in the race going slower than 6 minutes per mile in the race. Not one runner. And my personal best, I was never nearly as fast as Dick. Dick's personal best in the marathon is about 4:50 per mile. My best was right around 6 minutes per mile. So I'm out there thinking, okay, I can't get sucked out in this fast pace. I still got to run my own race. So I kind of throttled back a little bit. And for me, I actually had a really good day. Felt really good out there. Come around and, just perfect. But the problem was when I got to the finish line, there was nobody there. I ran just a little bit over 2 hours and 40 minutes in the marathon, and they turned off the clock, packed up the chutes, and left before I got there. And I did catch a couple runners in the second loop, people that started out too quickly, and so I thought, well, they gotta wait for us, right? They didn't think anything of packing up, turning off the clock, and leaving. So when I got in there, I look over and I see the race director and some of the other runners, and they're drinking Pepsis and they're all celebrating. So I run in and I grab them and I said, "David, where's the chute and the clock that was there when we started?" And he looked at me with a straight face, and he goes, "Well, the leaders came in like 2:11, and then stragglers came in like 2:20, 2:25, and then we packed it up, put the stuff in the back of my car, and then we came in here to celebrate." And he looks at his watch and he looks at me and he goes like, 2 hours and 42 minutes, were you lost? Were you picking flowers? What were you doing out there? And I said, "I was trying. I was running as fast as I could." And I said, "In America, like this race is open to 7 hours. Back then, most races were about 5.5 hours, 6 hours. So I said to him, "Back in America, we keep the finish line open for 5.5 hours in the marathon." He looked at me and he said, no one can run a marathon in 5.5 hours. I said, "Come to America." I witness it every weekend. It can be done. He didn't